my channel. My name is Shay. I'm so excited to have you here. If this is your first time, oh, you're so welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, you're good. Thank you for subscribing. Today, I'm very excited because I have a very special guest on my channel today, as you can see. And I'll leave her to introduce herself. But before then, our topic today is spicy. It's very hot. Yeah, actually hot. Today, we're going to be talking about the international student part. Yes. So if you have finally decided in your mind that I want to jackpot to Canada and you want to go through the international student route, we're giving you the first steps for you to, have it laid down for you to make that happen. So if you're interested, stay back and enjoy.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. My name is Shay. I'm an international student. I'm originally from Nigeria and I live here in Canada, Ontario. I'm an international student. I am taking a postgraduate program in human resources management. So I'm really happy to be here.
Welcome here, Shay.
Thank you.
Shay.
Yes. Fun fact.
Shay. Fun fact. It's so cool. Okay, so let's go right into it. First thing, let's use me for example as the case study here.
Yeah.
I am back in Nigeria. I've done with my undergraduate degree, and now I'm thinking, what do I do next with my life? I've decided, okay, I want to further my education, and I've chosen Canada. I don't know anything about it, but I just know study, postgraduate, Canada, destination. What do I do?
I think that's a great question because a lot of people don't really think that through. You just right now there's this huge trend and there's this desire, this burning desire to leave Nigeria as an international student, now. So, but the thing is, you have to have a plan. I know that it might sound serious, sound heavy, but that's what it is because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of planning, and it's really strategic, for you to decide that you want to travel out of, the country to go do a postgraduate program and use that as a route to immigrate and maybe stay in that country. So you have to be very strategic about it. And while we were preparing for this video, we were like, where do we start from?
Where?
You have to start, you will start from the what. So what are you going to study? And then why do you want to study that program? And then where are you going to study the program? And then how are you going to go about it? So you see, the what, the why, the where, and the how.
So you don't just jump to how.
No, how, no.
Yeah.
And a lot of people start from like, please, how do I do it? No. Calm down. Let's start from the beginning. What? So the question is, what do you want to study?
Good question.
And why do you want to study? What do you want to study? So I will use myself as an example. I've had some years of work experience back in Nigeria as an HR professional. So it made sense for me to say I was going to come over here to study human resources for my postgraduate. So not everybody might have my experience or may be in the phase that I'm in. If you are a recent graduate, you graduated a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you can still say, do I want to continue to study in using my undergraduate, program?
Field.
Yes, that, you maybe, for instance, you studied engineering. Do you want to do a postgraduate degree in that engineering course? Or have you started working, you have some years of work experience, and what you're doing is totally unrelated to what you studied? You not have to think about it, because the thing about schools in Canada or schools abroad is they don't just hand out admissions simply because you applied.
Okay.
Most of the requirements for admission includes writing a statement of purpose. So I know that a lot of people talk about statement of purpose when you're applying for visa, but you also need to do something like that when you are applying to schools.
Okay.
You need to convince your admissions officer for the faculty that your program is under, to let them know they need to know why that school, why that course, and why that faculty. It's really, really important. So don't just pick a course because you studied it in your undergraduate days, or that's what you're studying now. If you have another interest, for example, I know that there's some in-demand people, there's some publications out there now publishing in-demand skills, which I wouldn't want you to ignore. But another question is, what if my personal interests and my personal strengths are not in those skills?
True, like where there's tech in demand.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be in tech.
Yes.
But then I might not really be interested in it.
Yes.
So it's not something that
you might not be interested in it as a core. So you definitely don't want to, invest time and money to apply for a program that you probably wouldn't be interested in after you graduate. Remember, the whole idea is when you graduate, you would have to get a job, probably in relation to what you studied. It doesn't make sense for you to spend all that time and invest all that money to study a course that would not be useful to you. So what am I saying? Pick a program that will be useful to you after you graduate. Think about this as a long-term thing, and getting into a school outside of Nigeria, here in Canada, is just one step in that long-term process. So think about it. It will be easy if you studied maybe biochemistry and you really love it, and you just a few years post-graduation, then you have a good opportunity to come to Canada, come to school in Canada, and expand on that. Or if you've been working before, maybe you are now in HR or in project management, then you can pick a course that is in relation to what you are currently practicing as a profession. Another thing I'm going to add before we move away from the what is when you're filling the application for admission, some of the schools ask you for a second course. So I'll use myself as an example. When I wanted to apply to schools, there's some schools that asked me to, just put in my app. You can actually apply for more than one program.
Nice.
So what you might want to do is, in doing your research and in putting your plan together, you can have 2 to 3 courses. So you can say international business management or global business management, and then HR, and then business analytics. So you look for related programs, to your field, either your undergraduate field or the fields that you are in practicing the profession. Yes. So that's what you do. Because sometimes when you apply to the school, depending on the school admission process, they would not give you your first choice. They would give you your second choice.
That sounds very familiar. It sounds very familiar.
It happened to me. I applied to 2 courses and they gave me the first one and they didn't give me the second one. I actually applied to more than one school. The other school gave me the second course and didn't give me the first course. So it's always good to have 1 or 2 courses, so that when you get to that point of applying, you're not stumped and wondering what to do. So don't just focus on one course. Have 2 to 3 courses, especially if the school you're applying to, the admission fee covers more than one course. So great. Apply for 2 or 3 courses, and then you will definitely get admission for
at least one
of them.
Okay, that's a very good point to stop. Thank you very much, Shay. So if I get you right, correct me if I'm wrong, what you're trying to say in the what do I want to study, there's some research and some deep thinking that goes into it.
Yes.
So using a very average Nigerian, for instance, that has gone to the university, and maybe one way or the other you studied the course you liked, or you were given a course, which many of us can relate to it. Maybe you wanted to study something and then they give you another course to study. This is a good opportunity for you to do another critical thinking. And say, okay, this course that I went to study, when I was going into the university, I thought it was the best and perfect thing for me. But at this point, after graduating, I don't think I like this route any longer. So this is a good opportunity to reconsider and try out something else.
Absolutely.
Or if I'm of the category of this course that I studied, yes, I really liked it back then, but in the job market after graduating, I've graduated and I've been out of the market employed for some few years now. I've been working in another field entirely. So for instance, for you said you did sciences back.
Yes, actually my first degree was in biochemistry, but then I graduated, I did my NYSC, and then I started working in corporate, and I moved into a career in human resources.
You see, for instance.
And I did human resources for almost 10 years. So it wouldn't have made a lot of sense.
You know, so you want to go and do biochemistry.
Yes, you know, there's no there's little or no basis for it. It's not like it's impossible. It's just that in your statement of purpose and in gathering your transcripts and everything, you have to link it to why you want to come back and do a course related to life sciences or biochemistry, and it's just going to be really difficult.
And this is not just for the school alone, it's for yourself as
yes, for yourself.
So you might be thinking, oh, it's just a way to get admission into the school. No,
don't do that. Don't do that.
It's for yourself as well. So this is a good time to think again.
Yeah.
So irrespective of what you have studied or what you are doing, you need to actually think, do research. What do you want?
Yeah.
What is your next line of action? So it's not like a long-term thing.
It's a long-term thing.
Rather than a short-term.
No, it's a long-term thing. You getting admission and coming over here is just a step in the process. Because this is your life and this is your future. So you have to I know that your current situation is kind of tough and you want to get out of it. And I've been there. But the thing is, for you to enjoy the future that you are planning for yourself, you have to plan it. If you don't plan it, then there's no future for you to enjoy. And you have to be very strategic about it. It sounds like, is it deeper than this? It actually is.
Some people would actually debate that and say there's a risk to actually applying for a course, a postgraduate course that is related to your current practicing field, despite the fact that you don't have the educational backing. So it's a risk to spend all that money knowing fully well that you're ready to relocate now.
Yeah.
And then putting it into something that's not so sure. The only aspect you have related to that field you're applying to is your work experience. Do you think that's good enough for the schools?
It's definitely
and do you think
good
it's
enough.
good enough for the long-term plan?
It's definitely good enough because remember, when you're coming to school, you have work experience, you have previous work experience, it's going to be very advantageous in the classroom and even after you graduate, because in the workplace there's something called international experience. Now that is another video entirely. That's career related, where people have concerns about their work experience from home and how they can translate it into the new work environment in another location, in another continent. So the thing is, let me just drop this here to say, your experience matters. It's very valuable, and don't think that it will not give you an edge. It will give you an edge when you are applying for your admission, and you also need to bring that experience to life when you're putting together your application package and you're writing your statement of interest and all that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a very good point to integrate the why.
Yes.
Because I feel like the what cannot be entirely answered without the why.
No. So they have to know the why. So the why do you want to come to Canada to study? Are you coming to Canada to study just for academic advancement and go back to your home country, or you want to use it as a means to an end, the end being to settle down here as a worker and maybe eventually being a resident or a citizen or whatever? You have to establish that reason. Now, there is this...
Is this only for the school, just because of the application process, or for further reason?
For further reasons. So why do you want to come to school? Do you want to come to school because I want to gain more academic knowledge, or coming to school is just a means to immigrate? So that's your why. That would also probably determine where you want to go.
It can even be both.
Yes, it can be both. So in that case, you also have to be doubly sure about the course.
Back to the course.
Yes, back to the course. But even still, even if it's not both, even if it's for immigration purposes, I still wouldn't advise you to just pick any course, because it's not really the study. you also want to immigrate. But remember that after the study, there's life after that. You have to graduate, you have to get a job and all. And remember, depending on how you're going to finance your studies, it doesn't make sense for you to finance a course you wouldn't enjoy doing, because there's also the aspect of being in class, doing assignments, doing group work, doing projects. You have to be able to enjoy or at least like the course. So don't just say, oh, I'm trying to jack by, I just want to do this, I'll just do any course. It will be a nightmare for you, because the educational system and the educational expectations here in Canada, they are more intense, they are deeper. It takes a lot out of you. So it has to be something that you actually would enjoy and look forward to studying. I think at the end of the day, that's what it is. It has to be a program you look forward to studying, and it would be you would be able to get a job in it. So those two things. Can I get a job with it after school? This is not about the next in-demand job for the next 2020, because the world of work is so dynamic that what's in demand today may not be what's in demand tomorrow. Yes, I know that some things are relatively stable and some things you can actually foresee. But you see, what is the advantage of studying an in-demand course that you would hate having a job in? So again, I'm saying it sounds deep, but it is.
Hey, it's
Like,
your life now.
It's your life. You can't come and spend all that money or get someone to sponsor you to spend so much money, and then you're doing a course you absolutely hate, and then you can't get a job in it, or you get a job in it but you hate the job. You have to infuse some joy into it. You have to enjoy the process.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
we've done the what, and then we've done
the how.
the why.
We've done the how. Sorry, the why. So
Yeah.
we're going next to
So
the
we're going
where.
to the where. Canada is not the only place to do.
Hey.
You know, I know that Canada has come into the airways, the consciousness of people in the last 5 years. I'd say, like, Canada became, at least I can speak for myself, like from like that 2016, 2017, the word, not just the country, the word Canada has just been in our circles.
Yeah.
It's
like a keyword. It's
yes, the keyword right now. And right now, even social media, depending on what part of Twitter you're on, you see something every day about coming to Canada, either through express entry or work permit, or as an international student, or so. Now the thing, Canada is not the only country. There's the UK as well. I think because after Brexit and all that, I think the United Kingdom realized that they needed talent. So they have started to roll out programs to attract skilled workers.
Yeah.
And not just skilled workers, they are also they also introduced this postgraduate work permit.
Yes,
I think
yes,
it's
yes.
now I think it's now about 2 years or
2
so.
2 years or 3 years, something like that.
Yes, so that you can come study and then stay. So Canada is not the only country. There's the UK, there's the US. There are also countries in Europe. Let's try to ignore what's happening with the Ukraine and Russia right now. But Europe is also a good destination for postgraduate study. However, you still need to do your research on the countries. This is not where we would list out each country and say whether which country is good or bad. Each country has its pros and cons. But there's this general knowledge floating around, and if you haven't come across it, I can share. People say if you want to get visa on time,
Go to UK.
go to the UK.
I got it.
If you want to get scholarships,
US.
go to the US. And then if you want something more long term,
Like you have paper,
residency,
documentation.
yes, residency,
Canada.
citizenship, come to Canada. And this is why Canada has become more popular. It's just that Canada takes a lot from you in terms of timing. You have to be patient because their processes are very thorough, and you just have to be patient about it. But that's just it. If you don't have a lot of money but you do want to go abroad to study, US is a very good. There's so many schools in the US, so many ways to get funding, scholarships and all that, and grants and all of that. So you want to look into the US. If you when March, if you want to go to school in September in the UK, it's very possible.
True.
Apply now. You will definitely get
True.
admission.
True.
And then just pay your money.
Money is the
and then apply for your visa. You will get it. You will go. No. But Canada, you've got to have money. Now, there are some courses that don't have in terms of funding. We are slowly getting to the how now. We've just talked about the where. I think that's kind of like fine. So we'll go to the how. The how is, what are the requirements for getting into school? So in all what we said about the what, the where and all that, now you have to take the time to research the school. Research. When you decide on the country you want to go. So I've had people have come to me, people have, chatted with me and say, oh, where should they go? And I mean, the first thing, decide the country. When you now decide, because you've decided the course or the courses, then you now have the country. Then the country, you have to look for the school. Google is your friend.
Google.
Okay.
Google it.
So just Google the courses. Maybe you just go into Google and type in keywords, the courses, maybe schools in the United Kingdom.
That course.
You can put plus and put the cost, or just put the cost beside it. You would see there's so many websites that are catered to universities and colleges and rankings, and so you just see schools. It takes a lot of time, but you have to go into the websites of the schools. Go to the website, find out what the requirements are. If they have funding, there's some schools in the UK that just applying for admission, you are automatically eligible for scholarship.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I so before coming to Canada, I had done some research, explored the UK as an option. So there are quite a number of schools, not a few, quite a number of schools that just putting in your application to, for a program automatically qualifies you for scholarship consideration.
Nice.
Yes.
So it's just researching, basically.
Yes, it's just, you just need to take the time to research a few hours a day. Instead of spending time on Instagram, you spend that time on the website, and sometimes you don't need to even look too far. Just narrow down to about 3 schools or 5 schools that have the courses, that provide the courses and the curriculum. Another good thing about this website is they tell you what you're going to be learning, some course by course. Some of them even break down each course into blocks of
modules.
Yes, modules. And then you kind of like see, and then when you see it and you're like, okay, yes, this school, just go to the admission requirements page and see what is required. Most of the time they want you to come up with transcripts. If it's a program that requires research, you'll be expected to get references, academic references from your professors, and most of the time scholarships are also for scholarships before coming to school. Is usually for research based courses like sciences, maybe some engineering, but in terms of like business courses like human resources, there's usually not a lot of grants or like graduate scholarships for those. But maybe when you come into the school, because each school too has a scholarship system. Like the school I'm in right now, you don't get scholarship before you get in. But once you become a full-time student enrolled, you have access to about 200 scholarships, depending on, there's different, there are different criteria. I also thought that was interesting as well, because I came self-funded, because I didn't get scholarship to come in, so I paid my fees. And but on getting into school, I found out that there are scholarships.
But they're just available to students that are already enrolled.
Yes, they're already enrolled.
Yes,
nice.
Nice.
So those are the things that you look out for and you do research on. So if we want to narrow down to Canada, because I'm in Canada, I can speak more to the Canadian environment. Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories. So we're in Ontario, and Ontario is one of the provinces. So you decide the course you want to do, and then you decide on the province that you want to come to. There are about 10 provinces. Do a Google search to research the province, the population, the weather, all those things, the culture, because you're a black person, you're from Africa, so you might want to feel like, oh, I want to be
in a place where I can see other black people.
Yes, so just go to Google, go to Wikipedia, and see what the province, and see the cities, and you would see the demography of the people living, of the population. It will help you. Those are the things I did, to decide that I was going to come to my school in this part. I could have gone to another school in Ontario, but I picked this particular school, Conestoga College. Not like I'm advertising for them. But I picked that school because it was central to the Greater Toronto area. The program and the modules made sense to me, and it was also in Ontario as well. So it was kind of like it was a good fit. It had a co-op option, an internship option that was optional. So I was like, yeah, it looks good. It looks like a fit. So there's some schools that would give you what you need. You need to know what you need ahead of time to narrow down, because there's so many options. Know what you want, and then it will be able to help you narrow down, because there are also so many schools in Ontario as well. There are universities, and then there are colleges. And there are slight differences between the two, so you have to know exactly what you want. But the thing is, you have to take the time to do the research and find out what you want. When it comes to the admission requirements, they're easy, so you don't need to stress yourself. I think the work is just to identify the right course and the right school and the right province for you, and then decide on your funding.
Okay, so you mentioned universities and colleges. So what's the difference?
Okay, I think that's a very good question. So before I came to Canada, whenever my impression of colleges here were, I was comparing them to like polytechnics in Nigeria. But then I came here and I found out that it may not be, they may be similar, but they're not exactly the same, because really universities and colleges here, they pretty much serve the same purpose, which is post-secondary education. There's no discrimination, but the thing is, depending on what you need. Historically speaking, colleges were set up to meet the local employment and labor demands for the communities where those colleges are built and administered. And over time, so the colleges were set up for skilled trades like automotive, engineering, welding, plumbing, machining, all that stuff that involves
practical knowledge.
Yes, practical knowledge, vocational knowledge. But over time, these colleges started having schools of businesses, and they started taking professional programs like human resources, business management, business analytics, project management, that sort of thing. But things like interior decoration, hospitality, culinary arts, programs that are very practical and hands-on in nature, you will find them in colleges. Another major difference between colleges and universities is some of these programs are like 2-year, 3-year programs.
Okay.
Unlike universities that are 4-year programs. Another difference is more professional programs are offered by universities. So professional programs like law and medicine and accounting. But right now, even accounting is a course in colleges. Colleges also have now evolved into providing 4-year programs. So at the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference. What should make a difference for you is, where am I coming to study this course? Is this the course for me? Don't get hung up in the prestige of the school. unless that's what is most important to you. But if there are other aspects of getting that education that are more important to you, like ease of getting a job, ease of getting nominated for permanent residence, then don't think about how prestigious the school is. Think about the educational value you're going to get. That should be the focus. So that's really like the difference between colleges and universities. Colleges give diplomas.
I was about to ask that. What degree do you get?
Yes, but they now also give bachelor's degrees as well. But universities don't give diplomas. They don't give diplomas or certificate courses. But colleges do that. You can do 6-month courses, 8-month courses. Universities do your typical 4-year, 5-year courses. So that kind of
But for like postgraduate.
But postgraduate courses are the same across board. 1 year or 2 years, depending on the course.
So what about from the perspective of employers here in Canada? Does it matter if?
It doesn't really.
Okay.
It doesn't. What I would say about academic expectations in Canada is, if your course has, they call it co-op or internship. So we know it more commonly as internship. Internship is also a common word here, but there's also something called co-op. It's also like an internship. It's called, they also use the word placement. It's those break periods in between school sessions where you can put your school knowledge to work. Okay. So a lot of companies partner with universities and colleges, so if some courses actually have mandatory co-op, okay, then some have optional. The course I did had optional, but I'm in the co-op stream. You opt in for it, but you don't just opt in. There are also some academic requirements you need to meet, because they want to pick the best of the best. So the CGPA, the grade point average cutoff, is kind of high for you to get into the co-op, because it's also an opportunity to launch into the labor market. Some people have gotten their permanent jobs through the co-op opportunities and all of that. So that's pretty much it. So there's so many opportunities. Don't get hung up depending on who you talk to and where you're getting your information from. Don't get hung up on whether it's a university or a college. The thing is it meeting your needs? And everybody's needs are peculiar. So is it meeting your needs? Is this school going to give you the course you want? Is the price right? If you're looking for a scholarship, do they offer scholarships or whatever? So as long as they meet your needs, you're good to go.
So if there's one thing you should hear today, you cannot go without having a plan for yourself. Absolutely. Because whatever requirement or checklist you'll be going through, you'll be comparing it with what your personal plan is.
Right.
So the course you're studying, the school you want to attend, the location, the country, the funding, the placement opportunities.
Yes.
Everything has to align with your plan, because it's a long-term goal.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Shay, for being here today.
My pleasure.
It was really awesome. I've learned a lot, because trust me, I'm a novice. I know nothing about schooling, paro, and all that. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I hope you've also learned something. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, with all these freebies, all these goodies,
subscribe.
Do the needful. Thank you, and see you. I'll be dropping her details down below, so you can reach out to her. Her handle will be down below. Handle to her LinkedIn and her Instagram account.
For sure.
See ya. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching.